Business Takeout presents The Healthy Entrepreneur with Maxine Choy.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Entrepreneur Show. I'm your host, Maxine Choy. I'm a health and nutrition coach, and I help women to help them to maintain a healthy lifestyle by incorporating mindfulness, consistency, and accountability. So tonight, I have a beautiful guest, Coach Kamshuka. We're going to be talking about feminine energy. I'll tell you a little bit about Coach Kamshuka. She is a life and wellness coach, and also I love your accolades. You're you're an award-winning entrepreneur, author, and speaker that I know of, and also you are a war child survivor.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
so we'd love to hear your story about that as well. But I just want to welcome you to the show and thank you so much for agreeing to come on here. Really love to have you
Thank
here.
you. Thank you so much for
Welcome.
having me. I'm so excited. I've been excited all day. So this is absolutely amazing. Thank you.
I'm really happy. Thank you so much. So, before we begin, I want to just tell the audience a little bit about this platform. This platform is brought to you by Business Takeout. Business Takeout is a nonprofit a social enterprise. That is a nonprofit enterprise, sorry. And their mission is to increase Black wealth and empower Black entrepreneurs. And if you would like to get more information about Business Takeout and how they can help you, please follow them on all social media platforms. This includes Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So let's get going, and we're going to talk now a little bit about. So tell us about you first before we begin.
Absolutely. As you know, my name is Kamshuka. I am really just, I see myself as a servant in this world, and I am here to add value. And whatever I've learned, whatever way I've healed, I have chosen to share that with the world, with my community, and with my family because we heal, and it's important that we teach and show each other how we got from here to there. So I am a war child survivor of the Ugandan Civil War. I've also survived the Gulf War, which is the 1990, known as the Desert Storm War. And so my family has been through quite a bit as being born to an Anglo-Indian and a East African father. So we've traveled quite a bit, but also been separated quite a bit because of political reasons. And so
Mm-hmm.
my journey begins as a war child survivor. That's where it all begins for me.
I know, thank you for sharing that. You have an incredible story, and I know that there were times when you had expressed some of the trauma associated with it and how you got through it. So, when you say that it's important for us to share our experience, especially with our children and even like
Mm,
other people who may have gone through something similar, but just have been locked into that
yeah,
devastation and not really knowing how to come out as a survivor like you, like yourself, a warrior type of thing, right? And I just love your
yes,
energy. I love your vibe.
thank
Please go
you.
follow her on Instagram, guys, because she's got such like you just bring so much life, and I just think
Thank
that
you.
you're just a sweet soul, and I can see it in just how people are with you, how you are with people. When I first met you, you just like
Okay.
you embraced me, and how sometimes when we meet somebody, or sorry, how we
Mhm,
see people on social media and we tend to just form this preconceived idea of what we think what we think
mhm.
they are, like their personality, and we don't know how to approach them or even what to expect. And when I met you, it was like, oh my goodness, you're just a sweet, sweet, sweet soul. So
Thank you
yeah, I'll
so
never
much.
forget that.
Thank you. And it was such a pleasure meeting you. I really did feel like we were connected spiritually.
Yeah, yeah,
It's interesting how you meet people, just like you said, and sometimes, it's like we know each other, but we don't
yeah.
know each other physically. So I really do draw a lot of my energy from the connections I make spiritually with my audience and with people that I meet, just like you that day. And it gives me more life. It really does.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of life,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about femininity and embracing that
Mm,
and using it to create life, give life, and be life. I love that we chose this topic because
mm,
um, the experience or even the
mm,
conversation around feminine energy and embracing our femininity is
mm-hmm.
somewhat around being able to accept who you are, embrace it,
Yes.
and even accept love, and
Mm,
and just know that you are a divine feminine being capable
yes.
of giving and receiving, and you have so much power with this. And for anybody who doesn't know what we mean by embracing your feminine energy, I want to say, I'm going to read this that I found, and I thought I want
Mm,
you to just harp on it when I say it because it sounds a little conflicting, right?
mm-hmm.
So, feminine energy is free flowing,
Mm-hmm.
and not bound by rules. It is not a
Mm,
restrict. It's not restrictive and doesn't abide by social norms.
mm,
And I had to read that over and over. Like what? Like I'll read it again.
mm-hmm.
Feminine energy is free
Mm,
flowing and not bound by rules. It is not restrictive and doesn't abide by social norms.
mm-hmm.
And I don't know. What do you think about that?
I love that. I love all of those words combined. It allows me to think of myself in a way where I am not conformed into the idea that the world has for me. It allows
Mm-hmm.
me to understand that the expectations this world, society, sometimes even family has for me and who I am, I'm not restricted within that. It allows me to flow from a deeper and a free place. It actually makes me think of water. I don't know if you've
Mm,
heard the quote by Bruce Lee, when he said, "Be like water." And it's so true
yes.
because water is not contained. In fact, water,
Flowing.
as he said, and it's true, it flows, but it also takes the shape. It's shapeless. Water is, the type of energy and power that can create, give you life and also take away your life, right? Water can
Absolutely.
drown you, and water can also give you life. So when I think of that type of energy, I think of how it is society, it's the world, it's all these norms that tell us who we should be. And when we get stuck in those ideas of who we are not operating from the divine place, from the place of where we were actually created to flow from. That's
Mm.
what comes to my mind.
Yeah, it's so true because like when you're talking about water and how
Mm,
water could either heal you or kill you, it also
yes.
somehow it has a way of invoking a lot of emotions
Mhm.
and bringing forth like a, I guess like a calm. I've experienced that
Yes.
myself by going down by the
Mm.
lake and just
Ah,
sitting there and not necessarily staring at the water sometimes,
yes.
but just
Yes.
being near it and listening to it and
Mhm.
capturing glimpses. And it really
Mhm.
it made me connect more with my femininity and meaning
Absolutely.
my vulnerable side,
Mm. Yes.
my fearful side, the side
Mm.
that needs protecting, the side that
Mhm.
needs to lean into what I need in order for me to grow.
That's
Um,
right.
the side that led me to make decisions
Mm.
about my life and
Mhm.
even the side of me that is ready to receive love and give it
Mhm.
because we
Mhm.
sometimes, I mean, we're all feminine, but we also have a little bit of masculine energy to us. And it's the kind that is like,
Yes.
okay, you know what? I'm going to pay my own bills. I'm going to,
Yes.
do my own thing, get everything
Yeah.
done, go to the
Yes.
mechanic, do everything
Yes.
myself because why? Because
Mhm.
we have to, or maybe we're single. Maybe,
Yes.
maybe we don't
Yeah.
want to rely on a man or we don't want
Right.
to feel that a man has to come to our
Mhm.
rescue. So you
That's right.
you 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 use up that masculine energy that you
Mhm.
have. But I also feel personally that
Mm.
it sometimes can create a block to
Mhm.
to to receiving, and at the same time, like you said, it's
Mhm.
being free to
Mm.
own who you are and be accepting of who you are, and I like that,
Yes.
you know.
Absolutely.
Mm,
It's tapping into the open, right? Like the openness of who and the possibilities of what we can be, tapping
Mhm.
into how much we can receive. We are constantly putting limits on ourselves, you know, and it's true. You may think of, a man as a protector, but if you depend on that, you are taking away from how limitless we really are. It's
Yeah.
tapping into being open to receive what is for us without those limits constantly being poured into us.
Mm, nice. I like that. And so, in your practice, um, do you find that you meet a lot of women who are not embracing their femininity, and maybe just like
Mm,
maybe it's out of fear, or
yeah,
fear of like being
absolutely.
vulnerable or
Yes.
being susceptible to a man taking their power and using it on
Yeah.
you because they realize
Yeah.
that you're feminine, you're
hmm
fragile, and do you find that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something I've experienced in my life too, because a lot of us come from a place of brokenness.
Mm,
Trauma has been something that has led our childhood, led our
absolutely.
teenage years. So when
Yeah.
we show up unworthy already,
Mm,
right? We're waking up
yeah.
unworthy. And yes, we may include men in our lives, we may include a group of friends, we may include children. We give birth to so many different things. But when we get to a place where we are still feeling unworthy, even with everything around us, after you've accumulated everything, then you have to start asking yourself that question. Why am I still in the place of shame? Why do I still feel shame and guilt? What are these things that are still weighing me down that is not allowing me to tap into that energy and tap into that feminine energy where I can understand that I'm here to create, I give life. From me flows everything. But
Mm,
if everything is flowing from me and I'm still empty, then that's a question to ask, right? So that
right.
why am I giving so much, but I'm still empty?
Mm,
That's not powerful. That's a place of being powerless. And most of the time, from my experience and a lot of the conversations I have with my clients, fear is holding us
mm,
back, right? We're
yes.
afraid of what
Fear.
that means. Like, what does it mean to look into the mirror and see who I truly am? To
Mm,
even
yeah.
comprehend the idea of me being powerful. Why am I afraid of that?
Hmm. I'm like as you're talking, I feel like you're speaking into me, right? Um, I
Mm,
maybe because of childhood trauma would it be?
yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting that
Mm,
one could say, you know what, I know what I want, and
mm-hmm.
I can't, this feminine thing, I don't really, it's okay. I already know whatever. I don't know. One could say
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
things about that, but if you don't
Yeah.
take the time to embrace that side of you,
Mm,
that you so
mm-hmm.
have, that powerful
That's
side of you
right.
that every woman has, is to embrace our femininity and know
Yeah.
what it means to tap into that. There's so many different angles. There's so many different ways in
Absolutely.
which you
Mm-hmm.
could do that. So whether it's being a mother, a
Mm-hmm.
wife, or just even amongst your colleagues, it's how you
Yeah.
tap into that and
Mm-hmm.
become who you really are. It's so important.
Absolutely. It's crazy because it's actually through the angle of being mindful and
Mm,
understanding how you can take that calm spirit
yes,
and
yes.
cover or invade the chaos within yourself, right? It like
Okay.
I
I
I'm
like
coming
that.
from it really it's so true to me because I always thought, because of my childhood trauma, I've encountered PTSD from those days, those sounds of war. Um, I've been very fearful as a child, as an adult, even. I've encountered sexual abuse. So all these things have weighed me down to a place where I've forgotten that there is
Mm.
actually power in just me existing.
Mm.
It's true, as a warrior, you still have days that you're in pain. You feel the pain, you are still like you still have the emotions, you still carry. But
Yeah.
being a warrior and being within your divine feminine energy, it means that every day I have to be so conscious that I am here standing powerful despite what I am going through.
Mm.
And when I embrace me as a woman and what I bring to this world, it's only in the sacred place of the calm that I could speak to my chaos.
Mm.
It's the
When you
chaos
embrace,
that's invading,
yeah,
right? When
yes, yes,
chaos
yes, yes, yes.
invades your life, you cannot see yourself as a powerful human, powerful woman. All you
It's
see
true.
is defeated. That's all you see yourself
I want to write that down. Maybe you have to text it to me. Somebody text it. When chaos invades, when chaos invades your
as.
life, you cannot be the woman that you are, or something like
No.
that.
Yeah.
You know,
You cannot be powerful in those
you
places,
cannot
in
be
those
powerful
moments.
because I feel that when there's
Mm.
chaos, there comes there's a lot of emotions that come along with that. So, and those emotions can create maybe anger, resentment,
Yeah,
loneliness, emotional
absolutely.
anxiety,
Hmm.
um, all the things that
Abandonment,
could. What'd you say?
abandonment,
Abandonment,
rejection,
rejection.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's interesting. Like I said, this is not just
Mm.
about being feminine wearing a dress. This conversation is not even
No,
about that.
it's so deep.
It's really deeper and
Yeah.
really tapping in because I've listened to a lot of men talk about 10 things to embrace your feminine energy and what men are looking for, right? And
Mm.
it's all fine
Hmm.
and dandy to say, yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
but there's a lot more to
Yeah.
it because that's probably the key
Yeah.
in what we
Hmm.
need as a woman to figure out really to figure out
Yes.
what what is
Yes.
preventing us from being
That's right.
this beautiful
Yes.
person so that you could
Absolutely.
be a vessel to others, right?
Absolutely. Because we are here to bring and give life.
Yes.
And a lot of times, because of how broken we are or how powerless we are, we're not able to tap into that energy. So we're not able
Yeah.
to breathe the life that the situation needs. You know, it could be as simple as our businesses.
Yeah.
We are that close to the breakthrough. It's literally within us. But it is
Yeah.
when we see ourselves and we encounter ourselves for the first time, and it's like, whoa, oh, you were here this whole time. I didn't see you. It's like, okay, this whole time I thought you were the weak
Yeah.
little girl.
This
All
whole
I
time.
saw was the abuse. All I saw was the pain, the hurt, the name calling. That's all I saw. It's like you have to get to a place where you can see yourself through new eyes, you know?
Mm.
So
This is
where
really
you
beautiful.
thank you. It's speaking to me. I'm hearing what I'm saying. It's like um I remember the moment I looked at myself differently because all along, especially when I was a teenager, I was suicidal and I just didn't want to be here. It was too much pain, too much flashbacks, like just the sounds, the fear. I just really didn't want to be here. And I remember the moment I looked at myself I just looked at myself and I saw someone different. And
Mm.
that same woman, I seen her evolve every year. And so I give myself permission to, be emotional. I give myself permission to break down. I give myself permission to face my darkest moments because I
Mm,
know it's from there that I rise.
yeah. I
It's
have to pause for a minute. Just have to pause for a minute. If any woman or man is watching this right
Mhm.
now and you feel the words that's coming out of this beautiful lady's mouth, you feel it in your heart, you know what it meant when you're in that
Mm,
place where you
mm,
felt that you lost yourself. And it could be anything. We're not even necessarily talking about a relationship, we're talking about just life. And
yeah.
just, share this, comment, or ask any question you like, because this is really hitting me. Like I'm just, I'm, it's hitting me because I've been through that. Like I had to go through that
Mm,
whole cycle this
mhm,
summer, right? And
mhm.
sometimes people see you and they think
Yeah.
that your world is just full of bliss, and you're
Yeah.
you're you're trotting along and everything's perfect, but
Mm,
there are things that could be troubling on the inside, or just not
right.
necessarily troubling, but there's just things that are just not settled. They haven't been
That's right.
unearthed, and
Mm,
they've been covered up, and the
mhm,
trauma and the
mhm.
blame and the guilt
Yeah.
and everything was just stored inside of you, inside your,
Mm,
in your stomach where you hold everything,
yes.
and you fear bringing it out to the person because you feel they're going to say, oh, you're too this, you're too that, you're too emotional, you like to bring
Right.
things up too much, why are we going over this
Mhm,
again, or whatever. We hold on
mhm.
to it because we're afraid. But if
Yes.
you take the time to get to that
Yep.
space in your life where you can
Yes.
embrace, how as a as a war child, what what would you say that, I know you've seen like people shooting each other, things like that, you've had to flee, and I don't know if you've had any tragedy, like did you lose any family members or anything like that?
Yeah. A lot of family. I mean, our whole street. Um, when we were in this room for 3 days and 3 nights, where it was the size of your walk-in closet, and my dad had put the bedding around the wall so the bullets wouldn't come through. And as a child, when we came out of that room, the first thing I did was look out the window, and it was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I don't think anything could ever bring back the moment where I can't unsee that. And um, my friends, kids I played with, neighbors, just on the soil, that African soil, and just so dusty. And yes, a lot of family members, and a lot. Like, I mean, a lot is lost, and it's because a lot was lost that I am not willing to just let go of some things. So, in the
Mm.
place and the woman I am today, because I
Mm-hmm.
almost lost my mind. I mean, I did lose my mind over the
Yeah.
years. I'm a
Right,
mother
right. You.
myself. So I have kids, and I have to unlearn a lot to parent them consciously. So
Mm.
along the years, when you go through childhood trauma, when you're sexually abused, when you're put in the hands of people who should take care of you and they don't, family members, and a lot is lost. But I realized the one thing that has held me together is me remembering the little girl in those moments. That little girl who was there in the middle of war, in the midst of war. I I can never forget her. I can never
Mm.
forget who she was. I can never forget the things she thought of, because I
Yes.
remember as a little girl thinking, when I get older, I want to be a part of healing in this world. I want to bring peace. I don't want to hear sounds of war. I don't want to, if I can live, I want to live good. And as a child, when you hear sounds of war and so much happens to you, I was politically separated from my mother for 3 years. So when those things happen to you and then life keeps hitting you, into as an adult, you know, you get older, but life keeps happening.
Mm,
Circumstances don't stop.
yeah.
The only thing that makes it all
Wow. You know,
different, it's you. You have to determine who you want to be. How do I want to live this life?
you posted a picture of, I believe it's you and your siblings.
Yes.
Yeah. And the
Mhm.
caption was something about, I don't remember the caption, but I looked at the picture and I looked at all of you and I saw such a link that was just, it's like a
Mm,
stronger link. Um,
yes.
tell me about
hmm
that picture.
Um, I'll read the caption. I just pulled it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. It says, they say everybody has a chapter they don't read out loud, but it makes it more beautiful. What makes it more beautiful is that some chapters bring us closer to God's love, and healing is born out loud. Um, it's, like, I think 13 years ago now, my father passed away, and
Mm,
he had gone through a lot in those years of the war and just through life and just circumstances in life. And because all our journeys are so different,
mm,
just as everyone, we all go through different things, and sometimes we don't always say what we're going through. We all face our own batch of depression and
yes.
PTSD and things like that. It takes years sometime before you can come to yourself. You know,
Mm,
if you choose to live and you choose to thrive despite what has happened to you, there is a unlearning that you must go through. There's some
mm.
isolation you must
Oh,
walk through.
yes. Yes. Yes.
There's some dark, quiet, lonely moments, regardless of how many people you have around you. Only
Hmm.
you walk through that.
Yeah.
And that is what my siblings and I have gone through over the years, just with everything. We've had to separate and heal
Mm.
because it was the only way to do it. Because my healing could never have been enough for my sister or my brothers. They had to walk through their own journey.
Yes, of course.
So when we stand together in that image, it's powerful, and it means it's so deep to me because after heal, and not that we're done healing, we're still healing. We all heal every day
Differently. Yeah.
differently too. And so when we finally come together and we can just be amongst each other and accept each person for who they are and what they have walked through, it's beautiful because
Mm.
you don't ever have to understand somebody's healing.
No,
You don't have
you
to get
don't.
it. You
You don't have to
you don't
get it.
ever have to walk through the same journey, but when
Right.
you can stand together and know that this is a powerful moment, it was worth taking a picture of. It really was.
Definitely. Definitely. Um, there were some comments that came through. If the producers can just share that with us. Destiny, thank you so much, Destiny, for joining. And she's saying greetings to you.
Yes. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Destiny. Hope you're enjoying the show. Eco Body, Eco Friendly says she agrees. I think because when you were speaking and you were talking,
Mm,
um, she agreed. Okay, so great topic, ladies. Self actualization. We all go through different things in life. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, how how has it impacted your children? Like I know you probably just grew your children up a totally different way, or somewhat of a different way.
yeah. I really wanted to do it differently,
Yeah,
but I was
yeah.
so broken. You know, my
Oh,
um I have four kids. My oldest is 18, so I've been a mother since I was 23. And so starting off my journey in parenting, I did it. I really wanted to do it right, but I did it all wrong because I still needed to heal, and
I
it
love how
took
you
me
admitted
some,
that. I like
yeah,
that.
it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the absolute truth. I remember moments where, my kids would be getting into something And because I just had a flashback or something troubled me or memory came up from my past as a child,
The
I
trigger.
would react. I was triggered and and I would react so differently than I wanted to. And then I would sit in my room and just cry because that's not what I wanted, you know?
Oh,
And I
gee.
could tell I still needed the healing. Um, I can tell you this, when a woman is healed, when a woman is well, when a woman embraces her divine purpose and divine energy, she's able to not only birth children, but she can birth a nation. She can birth a
Mm,
legacy, a whole different story. And because I've done the work and I continue to do the work, my parenting is very conscious. I'm very aware of myself. I'm aware of the power of my words, the life
mm,
in them, and the death in my words. Because,
mm.
when you're upset, you can say some things.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Wow. Um, and what about just like integrating into
Mm,
the being a life coach and a wellness
mhm,
coach? Do, do you how do you how do you relate to your clients in a way that, because
mm,
you are coming from a place
yeah.
of tremendous amount of trauma compared to what we would go through. Our trauma is
Mhm.
probably like traffic, being in traffic every day for whatever and seeing an accident or
It's
something.
still trauma.
So are you? It's still trauma, right? How are you looking at everybody else and saying, ah, you don't know what I went through. I went
Mm-mm.
through a whole. Okay. Wow.
Absolutely not, because everybody has a story. Everyone has a
Hmm.
journey. And regardless of how you size trauma, it is still trauma. You know, what
Yeah.
triggers me may not trigger you, but it is still a trigger. And it is in mastering our minds and our emotions that we're able to be aware of how we respond to that trauma.
Right.
So I don't see I don't see trauma in that type of way. I don't see it in, this larger, or I've been everybody has a story, and some of the things I've heard from some of my clients, the
Mm.
strength is enormous, and
Enormous.
I think as humans, um, we have this challenge of living in this human body and in this hurt earth where we have to
Yes.
constantly be gracious and give
Mm-hmm.
grace.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't want to.
No.
So I think at the end of the day, we are all faced with the same challenges when it
Yeah.
comes to how we work through our traumas, our
Mm-hmm.
triggers, our situations, our circumstances. Um, I think we all have the same grace given to us at times, and sometimes we have to give ourselves even more grace because of what we've all been through. So I don't see it any different way.
Right.
I think that
Wow.
we all deserve some grace.
That's really beautiful. You've said so many you've made so many interesting revelations and realizations for me, and I'm sure for the audience. I
For
saw
me
Equal
too.
Body, no problem. Equal Body asks, "How do you find balance?" And I don't know if that's a question
Mm.
for you or me. I'm assuming it's for you because balance is like it's so iffy, right? But let's see.
Right.
Let's.
You know, I've said this before. I don't like the word balance because
Yeah.
um, it implies that we are to do things a certain way, and there's one way to do it, and we have to juggle. And the
Yeah.
idea of juggling bugs me. I've said this before, I do prefer to harmonize within my life.
Mm.
Um, Parenting and being an entrepreneur and being a wife, all of who I am is all found in my divine feminine energy. So the way I respond to my family shouldn't be any different than how I respond to, my business or what I'm creating. If I am well, then what I'm doing in the moment is for now. So it's within my harmony. And if something is not aligned in my harmony and is taking away from me, I am
Mm,
so quick to say this is not a now thing.
this is not. Yeah.
This needs to wait.
I hope that whoever is watching this is taking some tips, because I certainly am, because I've had to learn to like figure out, it's the vibe, it's everything that
Yeah.
is in your space that oh, you're welcome, Eco Body, for me. Um yeah, like taking in everything that's happening around you and not
Hmm.
really taking the time out to realize what is
Right.
affecting you, what is
Mm.
interrupting your yin and your yang.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this has been
Absolutely.
great. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing your story and your knowledge and just your passion about embracing this part of life. And I hope that
Mm.
it's I hope that you continue to spread this divineness about you. Like I said, you have this aura about you that I absolutely love. So, where can everyone find you if they need to reach you?
Absolutely. You can find me anywhere on social media under Coach Kamshuka. My website is theconsciouswarriors.com. And if you are lost on all of those words, then just Google Kamshuka and it'll bring you straight to me.
Definitely. I want to thank you so much for, again, being on a guest and for sharing everything. I want to thank the
Thank you.
audience as well. And before we go, I just want to talk about four things for just to um, for a woman to embrace and
Mm.
activate your feminine energy. And one of them is to just get in touch with nature, because when you do that, it invokes your creativity. So going for a walk, or like I said, like I did, going by the lake, right? Going hiking, all that stuff, right? The other one is to just be slow to anger, and yeah, just slow down and not
Mm.
be rich to pop off on people, if anything, right? And accepting compliments gracefully, which I am so guilty of. You give me a
Yes,
compliment and I'll deflect that like a baseball hitting a bat. A bat hitting a baseball.
we all
Um,
do.
yeah, like I find it so hard. And I think it's because I'm just hard on myself because of
Mm.
whatever it is that I've been through.
Hmm.
So I feel like I don't deserve it. Isn't that
Mm.
weird?
You deserve it, girl. You deserve
But
it.
but but that's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah,
Like I feel like I don't deserve
absolutely.
it.
Mm.
Like it's just a weird thing.
I hear
um,
you.
yeah, yeah. And the last one, which is another one I'm guilty of, is allowing others to help you. Don't you
Mm.
agree with that one?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm guilty
So
of that.
guilty.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really am. Because I
Mm.
mean, yes, we can do everything ourselves, but it's okay
Yes,
to allow someone to help you,
that's right.
right?
Yes.
It's not a sign of a weakness; it's a sign of strength. So
It's power. You are
it's
powerful
power.
even when someone
Yeah,
helps you. Yes.
exactly. Well, again, thank you so much. Thank the
Thank
audience.
you.
Have
Thank
yourself a good
you.
night, everyone, and stay well.
You too.
Thank you for watching. Bye.
If you enjoy our programming and want to help support Black entrepreneurship, please donate today. www.businesstakeout.com/donate.